Welcome to another episode of How to Debate or How to Make Your Arguments More Persuasive. In this video, I will highlight 3 essential building blocks of rhetoric or persuasive debate proposed by Aristotle, commonly known as the Big Three. It forms the 3 basic rhetoric tools: logos, ethos, and pathos. In the previous video, I discussed the fundamentals of a good debate and clarified some basic terms such as arguing, argument, argumentation, and rhetoric. If you haven't watched the first video, I strongly recommend doing so to get the most out of this video. You will find the links in the description below. Debating is an excellent way to develop critical thinking, confidence, and communication skills that can benefit you in many areas of your life. With the ability to persuade and influence others, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Strong debating skills can significantly enhance your career and overall quality of life. First, let me define logos, ethos, and pathos in one line, and then I will unpack each tool to share more details. How does that sound? Logos is the argument by logic. Ethos is the argument by character or credibility of the speaker, and pathos is the argument by emotion. Let's look at this one by one now. Logos. The best way to remember logos is to think of logic. Logic originates from the Greek word logos, which means reasoning. An appeal to logos is based on logic, reasons, facts, and figures. Logic deals with the relationship between statement in an argument. For instance, if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C, right? This conclusion is valid regardless of A, B, and C values. The first 2 statements are the premise or premises, and the last statement is the conclusion. This type of reasoning is known as deduction. Although there are many forms of logic which are beyond the scope of this video, nevertheless, logic is a crucial component of compelling argument. In addition, logic involves questioning and answering to discover and test knowledge. This dialectic style, which Plato introduced, is a technique of asking pointed questions to challenge the opponent's pre-existing beliefs. Hopefully, you are enjoying this video, and I invite you to like it and subscribe. Leave a comment and share it with your friends. They will thank you. Ethos. The term ethics originates from ethos. Ethos is an appeal to the speaker's character and credibility. According to Aristotle, the speaker must sound credible. If the opponent has a history of being dishonest, unreliable, or devious, this should influence how the audience perceives their argument. Aristotle argued that persuasion is accomplished through the speaker's personal character. He correctly observed that we are more likely to believe truthful and ethical people than those who are not. According to Aristotle, a person's character and reputation are among the most effective means of persuasion available to a speaker. Therefore, if a speaker's character and reputation are the most powerful tools of influence, then they are invaluable. Suppose your opponent has read Aristotle's rhetoric and the significance of ethos in persuasion. In that case, they will be working hard to convince the audience of their personal credibility, which is ethos, to strengthen their argument, right? Therefore, attacking their ethos is crucial for your success in winning the argument. Next time you are in an argument, consider using credibility and reputation to your advantage. Pathos. Pathos is a crucial part of the equation if you want to win your argument. The words empathy and sympathy derive from pathos. An appeal to pathos relies on human emotions and feelings like fear, anger, joy, suspicion, etc. Aristotle says that in pathos-based arguments, persuasion may occur when the speech stirs emotions. Our judgments are different when we are pleased and friendly, and our decisions are different when we are angry and hostile. Our emotions and feelings affect our judgments, so it is vital to reach the audience emotionally as well. While Aristotle gave equal importance to all three persuasion modes, I believe emotions, particularly pathos, are more effective than logos in influencing an audience. This is not to say that facts are unimportant, but it's crucial to acknowledge the powerful role emotions play in persuasion. Studies have shown that appealing to an audience's emotions can increase the likelihood of persuading them. Pathos can also be an effective way to convey logos, which is logic, to an audience. While it's important to base arguments on truth, changing people's minds requires more than that. It's important to consider logos, ethos, and pathos before presenting your case. Ask yourself if your points make logical sense, if people will trust you, and how you can get them excited about your point of view. Understanding how these three modes of persuasion work together can help you quickly navigate debates and controversies. Allow me to put it all together by sharing a personal story. Have you ever had a professor advise you on how to study for an exam? Of course, you have. Let me tell you a story about a professor who convinced me to change my study habits for the final semester. It was the final semester of my MBA, and I had a professor who had been teaching for over 35 years. He was a bit of a legend on the campus. Everyone knew him as the exam whisperer. His advice was highly sought after, and especially for those about to graduate and enter the real world. One day, I was discussing with him about a particular topic that I was struggling with. This topic was worth a significant portion of the exam, and I was worried about how I would perform. The professor listened patiently and then gave me some advice that completely changed my approach to studying. He said, address this topic last. In my 35 years of teaching experience, I can confidently say that you should study this topic in the last, as it will digress your attention to multiple offshoots and waste your time, and you may lose precious time to focus on other essential topics. His suggestion was counterintuitive. At first, I was skeptical. How could leaving such an important topic until the end be a good idea? But the professor had a way with his words that made me trust him completely. He used ethos, credibility, trust, and repetition to convince me, and I was sold. Then he told me how he had given the same advice to other students in the past year, but the last batch had ignored his recommendation. The net result was that 50% of the students failed and had to wait 6 months to retake the exam. He used pathos to convince me by bringing in fear and emotion. Finally, he showed me the historical data of students' pass and failed percentages, including their study plans. He used logos based on reasoning, facts, and figures to convince me, and that was it. I was convinced and followed his advice. And you know what? I aced the exam. The professor's advice had worked like a charm. It's time to put this idea into practice. Before your next presentation, consider viewing it from logos, ethos, and pathos perspective. Ask yourself if your points make logical sense. How can you gain the trust of your audience? Additionally, think about how you can inspire and motivate them for your proposal at the end. Remember that logos, pathos, and ethos often work in conjunction with each other. Ignoring the importance of ethos, pathos, and logos in an argument is risky. Finally, I must say, one of the most crucial aspects of debating is practicing and preparing beforehand. It is also crucial to keep the audience in mind when constructing arguments. Failing to do so is like writing a love letter with the heading to whom it may concern. Even in a debate with only two people involved, it's essential to consider the opponent as your audience. Remember to pay attention to the importance of your audience, as they are the ones you need to convince and persuade. Winning them over requires a thorough understanding of what appeals to them. In summary, logos is the argument by logic, reason, fact, and figures. Ethos is an argument by the character or credibility of the speaker and relies on the speaker's personal reputation. The best way to remember ethos is to think of the word ethics. Pathos is argument by emotion and relies on human emotions like fear, anger, joy, etc. The easiest way to remember pathos is to think about the words like sympathy and empathy. The three modes of persuasion, logos, ethos, pathos, usually work together to win an argument or debate. In debating, nothing is more important than practice and preparation. Remember your audience and don't write a love note addressed to an unknown recipient to whom it may concern. With this understanding, you are now ready to examine the controversies that emerge and develop in a debate. Logic, emotion, and character are the mega tools of rhetoric. Explore how you can use each method. Consider incorporating a mix of all three. Do you typically lean towards one mode, or is a specific method your default choice? Share your thoughts on how you plan to use logos, ethos, and pathos in the comments below. If you like science-backed insights to increase your happiness, performance, and decision-making skills, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Even better, share it with a friend. They will thank you. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed and I hope I have helped you. See you next time. Bye for now.